Do you guys know like the like multiple divisions of the nervous system?
That's
like
like it's freaking confusing.
Because that kind of
Like divisions of parasympathetic and sympathetic,
no, I'm talking like
central nervous system,
yeah,
enteric
like,
nervous system,
yeah.
autonomic nervous system.
yeah, kind of how it breaks down. Hold on, this might help a little bit. So. Okay, so, alright, so you've got your nervous system, right? Which divides into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, right? This includes your brain and spinal cord. Right? Peripheral is everything else, basically. Right. Now this divides into sensory and motor. Right? And this is talking about direction of action potentials. For example, sensory, it's taking impulse from the environment and sending it towards the central nervous system. Motor is sending it away, basically, from the nervous system, right? Okay. Then motor then divides into somatic and autonomic, right? Somatic meaning purposeful movement, mostly talking about like skeletal muscle and things like that. Things that you think about doing, basically, like walking and things like that. Okay, and then autonomic, right, splits up into sympathetic and parasympathetic. So autonomic meaning like a automatic response that you don't have to consciously think about, but that responds from the environment, right? So, and then sympathetic, parasympathetic, fight or flight, rest and digest, right? So this is kind of important because these are the reasons why they split up the nervous system, and when you break it up like this and understand why we're splitting it up this way, kind of helps make sense of it a little bit. So the first one, like central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, is mostly talking about like where the signal originates from and where it's going to, right? Division of the peripheral nervous system into...
One more time, peripheral nervous system, what was that you said?
Well, central nervous system is usually where the signal is originating from, right? Or it's kind of the command center, like it sends and receives signals and determines what to do. Peripheral nervous system transmits signals and receives signals, but doesn't actually like think. Does that make sense? Okay. And then sensory and motor, those divisions talking about which direction is that signal going. Is it going towards the central nervous system or away from it?
Sensory being it's coming towards?
Right.
Okay.
So sensory would be considered afferent, right? Motor would be efferent. Okay. All right. And then among the efferent signals, there is somatic, autonomic, right? So, so basically there's, what makes this complicated is that they're all kind of linked together, right? for example, when we're talking about the enteric nervous system, it says that there's sensory neurons, right? Motor neurons and interneurons, right? So for example, the sensory neurons are sending the signal to the central nervous system, right? The motor neurons are causing a muscular actions or whatever, and the interneurons are basically what are connecting these two together. But also the sensory relays information to the brain, which may initiate an autonomic response. So that's kind of where it gets complicated, is that, so like this sensory signal can directly synapse through interneurons and cause a response, a muscle response, like constriction.
But you have to go to the motor though in order to do that, right?
Right.
Okay.
But the sensory sends information to the brain, and the brain can decide to send out a like parasympathetic response, right? Like secretion of whatever, or enhance like action of the digestive system, basically.
That'd be like sweating.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Because one cool thing about the autonomic nervous system is that it basically enhances whatever needs to be done, right? Like sweating, for example, it's how you want to dissipate heat, so your body might dilate blood vessels to bring more blood to the surface to dissipate heat, but it also sends an autonomic response to cause you to sweat, to increase evaporation and dissipating heat more effectively, basically. But it's not something that you have to like think about doing, that thing. But I don't know. It is kind of
The somatic, you have to think about it though, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.